You spend Saturday afternoon negotiating a $35,000 SUV. You sign, take the keys, and drive away. So, how much profit did the dealership just make? Not $35,000, not even $3,500. In the first quarter of 2026, Presidio-NCM put average new vehicle gross profit at $1,781 per unit, roughly 5% of this sale. And that is gross profit, before the cost of keeping the lights on, paying people, advertising cars, and running the building. Which raises a question. How does a business making $1,800 per car afford glass showrooms, service bays full at 7 a.m., and a finance office before the exit? Start with that $1,781. Because the car you see on the lot is only the front door. Behind it is a business built to make money from the choices around the car and from the years after it leaves the lot. Let's follow your $35,000 SUV from the windshield sticker to the next 5 years. Where does the money actually stay? You see $35,000 on the final sales sheet. That is the number you pay for the vehicle. It is not the number the dealership gets to keep. A new car has to be acquired from the manufacturer. It may sit in inventory before it sells. Salespeople are paid. The store has rent, utilities, software, insurance, advertising, managers, technicians, and a building full of expensive equipment. So the first thing to understand is simple. Revenue is not profit. Think of the sticker as the headline. The worksheet is the plot. People often try to solve that plot with one word: invoice. They assume the invoice tells them exactly what the dealer paid, but it is not that clean. Manufacturer incentives, holdback, advertising fees, delivery costs, aging inventory, volume bonuses, and the cost of financing cars on the lot can all change the real economics. That does not mean every dealer loses money on every new car. It means a $35,000 sale does not automatically create a $35,000 payday. Presidio-NCM's 2026 first quarter figure gives us a useful scale. From your $35,000 transaction, the average new vehicle department gross was $1,781 per unit. That is the slice left before the rest of the store's costs. Now, imagine you negotiate hard and get a good price. The dealership may still want the sale. A sale moves inventory. It can help a manufacturer target. It creates a customer in the system, and it opens a door to another part of the building. The thin margin on the vehicle itself is one reason the handshake in the showroom is often followed by a walk to a quieter hallway. You have agreed on the car. Why is there still another sales conversation waiting? You sit down in the finance office. The car price is settled, but the menu is just beginning. How long should the loan be? 48 months? 60? 72? 84? What annual percentage rate will you receive? Is gap coverage worth adding? What about a vehicle service contract, tire and wheel protection, prepaid maintenance, or appearance coverage? These are not just papers that happen after the sale. The finance office is not paperwork after the sale. It is another store inside the sale. That sounds cynical, only if every product is useless. They are not. Gap can matter when a borrower owes more than an insurance payout after a total loss. A service contract can be useful to someone who values predictable repair costs. Tire coverage may help a driver who faces expensive road damage. But usefulness and profitability can exist at the same time. The finance manager is helping you make decisions about borrowing, risk, and convenience. Those decisions can generate income for the dealership through lender relationships and optional products, depending on the deal and the rules that apply. And in the first quarter of 2026, Presidio-NCM reported average F&I income of $1,727 per unit. Why does the dealership want you in that office? Read those two numbers together. New vehicle gross profit, $1,781. F&I income per unit, $1,727. The finance office can produce almost as much gross from the decisions around the vehicle as the new car department produces from the vehicle itself. That is the first reveal. You did not walk into a building that only sells SUVs. You entered a place that sells an SUV, a way to pay for it, and a menu of ways to reduce, transfer, or prepay future risk. The car may carry a thin margin. The decisions around the car can carry a much thicker one. And there is a reason this conversation can feel powerful. You have already spent hours choosing color, trim, payment, and price. The keys are close. The future problem being described is far away. A repair bill, a blown tire, a totaled car, a gap in insurance coverage. Nobody wants to picture those things while they are one signature away from driving home. So what is the finance office really selling when it offers a protection plan? A brochure is easy to decline. A future problem is harder. Gap is not a magic word. It is protection against a particular possibility. After a total loss, the insurance payment may be less than the remaining loan balance. That gap can be larger when taxes, fees, negative equity, and products are rolled into a loan. A vehicle service contract is not every repair forever. It has a price, a time limit, exclusions, deductibles, and a provider. Tire and wheel coverage has its own terms. Prepaid maintenance does too. You should not ask only, "Will I ever use this?" A better question is, what exactly does it cover, what does it cost, what are the exclusions, and what are my alternatives? For one buyer, predictable expenses can be worth paying for. For another, the same plan can be poor value. The point is not that every add-on is a trick. The point is that the finance office is selling relief. It is selling the right not to think about a future bill. That is a real thing people value. It is also a reason this room can be so profitable. The F&I office is profitable, and it is not the only layer. Your relationship with the dealership continues beyond that final page. The first reminder arrives later, on the dashboard or on the phone. Service due. And that little reminder leads to the part of the dealership that has a reason to see you again and again. A few months later, you bring the SUV in for its first service visit. The showroom is quiet compared with Saturday. The service lane is not. Cars line up before work. Advisors greet owners by name. A technician pulls your vehicle into a bay. There is an oil service, a tire rotation, a multi-point inspection, and a list of items to watch. But here is where the business model changes shape, and where the margins improve. Service and parts work can carry a different economic value because the same vehicle can return again and again. A showroom sells you one car once. The service drive gets to meet that car again and again. Most vehicles come with a manufacturer warranty, often measured in years and miles. Maintenance schedules may call for service at 5,000, 7,500, or 10,000-mile intervals, depending on the vehicle and how it is driven. Tires wear out. Brakes wear down. Batteries fail. Warning lights appear. Accidents happen. Some work is paid by the customer. Some warranty work is reimbursed by the manufacturer under set rules. Some customers buy parts or accessories. Some return because the dealership already has their vehicle history, their contact information, and an appointment button one tap away. Your first oil change may not be a huge transaction, but the oil change is valuable for a different reason. It is the recurring appointment that keeps the relationship alive. A technician may find genuinely worn brakes or tires. You can ask for the measurements, compare prices, get a second opinion, or service the car somewhere else. The dealership has an opportunity, not a guarantee. But each return visit gives the business another chance to sell labor, parts, maintenance, and trust. This is why service and parts matter so much to dealership economics. They turn a one-day retail transaction into a repeated operating relationship. And after enough visits, the question is no longer what the dealership made on the Saturday you bought the SUV. The question is what one customer can become over 5 years. Put your original worksheet back on the screen. Now stretch it into a calendar. Day 1, a $35,000 SUV, about $1,781 in average new vehicle gross, using Presidio-NCM's first quarter 2026 figure. Then $1,727 in average F&I income per unit. That does not mean you personally create those exact numbers. You are one customer, not an industry average. And gross profit is not net income. But the pattern is what matters. The dealership structures its business to capture revenue at multiple stages over multiple years. In year 1, there may be warranty work, scheduled maintenance, and the first customer pay service visit. In years 2 and 3, there may be tires, brakes, fluids, repairs, accessories, or more maintenance. In years 3 through 5, there may be larger wear items, an expired warranty, or a customer deciding where to take the car for service. Then comes the end of the cycle. You may sell the SUV, trade it in, refinance, or start shopping for the next vehicle. A trade-in is not just an old car arriving at the curb. To a dealership, it can be used car inventory, another appraisal, another financing conversation, and another chance to begin the cycle again. This is the second reveal. You are not just buying a car, you are entering a 5-year revenue relationship. The key handoff is not the finish line. It is the first appointment on a much longer calendar. The dealership does not need all its profit to come from your first $35,000 transaction. It can earn from several layers: the new car sale, the finance office, future service, parts, repairs, and a possible trade-in. That is why dealerships invest in CRM systems, service reminders, and loyalty programs. They are not just managing data, they are managing a revenue relationship that can last for years. The car gets you into the building. The relationship is what keeps paying the building. This model looks durable: multiple revenue streams, long customer relationships, repeat visits. Still, it is not invulnerable. Several forces in the market can weaken it. First, inventory is expensive to hold. A dealership cannot simply fill the lot forever and wait. Many vehicles are financed while they sit there. When borrowing costs are high, every extra day on the lot matters. Second, the interest rate environment changes the finance office before you ever walk in. Higher auto loan rates can push monthly payments beyond what buyers can afford. You may choose a longer loan, a cheaper vehicle, a used car, or no car at all. Fewer affordable deals can mean fewer F&I opportunities too. Third, electric vehicles change the service calendar. By mid-2026, battery electric vehicles accounted for roughly 6% of new light-duty vehicle sales in the United States, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. 6% is still a small share, but it represents a structural problem for a service business built around combustion engines. EVs need no oil changes, their regenerative braking can reduce brake wear, and they have no conventional transmission to maintain. They still need tires, suspension work, collision repair, software-related service, and other maintenance. But the mix is different, and a dealer built around combustion engine service has to adapt. Fourth, some of the best-known EV brands have trained customers to expect a different path. Browse online, see a fixed price, order directly, and skip the traditional negotiation ritual. Tesla and Rivian do not eliminate the need for service, financing, or repairs. But their direct sales model challenges the idea that every customer needs a franchised showroom and a traditional F&I handoff. Finally, trust is fragile. If you feel pressured into an add-on, confused by a payment, or surprised by a repair estimate, the 5-year relationship can end after one visit. You can refinance. You can use an independent mechanic. You can get competing quotes. You can trade the car somewhere else. A dealership can sell a car in an afternoon. It takes years to earn the right to sell the next service. So when you drive away, what did you really buy, and what did the dealership really acquire? You bought a $35,000 SUV. The dealership sold a vehicle. But it also opened a relationship with many possible next transactions. The new car department may have made $1,781 in average gross per unit in 2026's first quarter. The finance office added an average $1,727 per unit. Then there are the months and years after the sale. Service reminders, warranty work, parts, tires, repairs, and perhaps a future trade-in. That does not make every dealership dishonest, and it does not make you powerless. You can compare loan offers, read every product contract, ask what is optional, request details on repair work, and choose where to service the vehicle. but it explains why the building is bigger than the showroom. The car is what you take home. The relationship is what the dealership hopes you bring back. If this changed the way you look at a dealership service lane, like and subscribe. See you next time.